Level 1, the first sign. You don't go looking for it. It finds you. Maybe it starts with a dream you can't shake, a face you've never seen, a voice calling your name in a room full of silence. You wake up and the air feels different, thicker, charged. You tell yourself it's nothing. Stress, tiredness, your mind playing tricks. But it happens again and again. Then one day, an older woman stops you on the street. She doesn't ask for money. She doesn't hand you anything. She just looks at you deep and says, "You have eyes that haven't opened yet." She walks away before you can respond. That night, you can't sleep because somewhere in your chest, you know she was right. That's level 1, the knock on the door. Most people ignore it, but you didn't. Level 2, the first price, silence. You start asking questions. You find a teacher, a guide, someone who speaks about things that can't be Googled. They sit across from you in a quiet room. No phone, no clock, just two people and the weight of what's about to be said. They tell you the first price is not money. It's silence. Not just quiet, real silence. They tell you to stop talking about what you're learning. No friends, no family, no social media posts about your spiritual journey. You think that's easy. It's not, because within a week, the visions get stronger. You start seeing things in the corner of your eye, shadows that move with intention, lights that don't belong. You want to tell someone. You need to tell someone. But you made a promise. And something you can't name is watching to see if you keep it. You keep it. Your relationships start to shift. Your friends think you've gone quiet, cold, strange. You lose 2 of them in the first month. That's part of the price. Silence is never free. Level 3, the world starts to crack. By the 3rd month, you realize you've been sleepwalking your whole life. Everything you knew, the news, the systems, the people around you looks different now. Like someone peeled back the wallpaper and showed you what was underneath. You see energy, not metaphorically, literally. You walk into a room and you feel who is lying, who is suffering, who is dangerous. It's not a superpower. It's a weight. Because now you can't unknow it. You sit in a meeting at work and you see your manager's fear masked as confidence. You shake a hand and feel grief the person hasn't told anyone about. You pass a church and feel both holiness and rot at the same time. The world isn't black and white anymore. It's everything, all at once. And your mind wasn't built for that. Not yet. You start having headaches that no doctor can explain. You stop eating as much. You lose weight. People start asking if you're okay. You smile and say yes. You're not okay. But this is the cost of going deeper. Most people turn back here. You don't. Level 4, the second price. Something you love. Your teacher calls you at midnight. They say it's time for the second price. You've been waiting for this. You thought you were ready. They tell you that to fully open the spiritual eye, you must willingly release something you love. Not symbolically. Actually, for some people, it's a habit that's been a comfort for years. For others, it's a relationship that feels safe but keeps them small. For some, it's an identity, the version of yourself the world has always known. You think about it for 3 days. You already know what it is. That thing you run to when life gets hard. That thing that numbs you just enough to keep going. It's been your anchor. But anchors don't let you rise. The night you let it go, you cry in a way you haven't cried since childhood. Ugly, uncontrolled, like something is being pulled out of you at the root. And then silence. Not emptiness. Space. And in that space, for the first time, something else moves in. A clarity so sharp it almost hurts. You see your whole life from above. Every choice, every wound, every moment you were guided and didn't know it. You understand now. Now why the price had to be real. Because the eye doesn't open for people who aren't willing to bleed for it. Level 5, the gift arrives. It doesn't arrive like lightning. It arrives like dawn. Slow. Then all at once. You wake up one morning and the world is loud in a way it never was. Not with sound, with meaning. A stranger on the bus is carrying news they haven't spoken, yet you feel it before they open their mouth. You dream a phone call. It comes 2 days later, word for word. You start helping people. Quietly. A friend is about to make a decision that will cost them everything. You don't explain how you know. You just tell them, don't do it. They listen. 6 months later, they thank you with tears in their eyes. This is the part no one tells you about. The gift is beautiful. but it's also relentless because it doesn't turn off. You feel everything, every room, every person, every layer beneath the surface. You can't go to crowded places anymore without being overwhelmed. You start avoiding shopping malls, parties, large gatherings. Not because you're afraid, because it's too much. The gift is real, but you're beginning to understand it was never meant for comfort. It was meant for purpose. Level 6, the cost you didn't see coming. Here's what the teachers don't warn you about. When you operate on this level, you become a target. Not for people, from forces that don't want you awake. Your sleep becomes a battlefield. You wake up exhausted from nights of vivid conflict in places that don't exist on any map. You start seeing things that are not guides, not light, things that study you the same way you study others. You go back to your teacher. They look at you differently now, less like a student, more like a soldier. They say you crossed a threshold. You can't uncross it. The only way is through what they don't say. You start to understand why so many people who open their eyes too fast break. Not because the knowledge is false, because the human vessel wasn't prepared to carry it. You question everything. Your sanity, your purpose, whether this was ever a gift at all. There are 3 weeks where you feel completely alone. Not lonely, alone, stripped, raw, like every layer of who you thought you were has been removed. And underneath something you don't recognize yet. Something older. Final level who you become. You come out the other side, changed in ways you don't have words for. The person who knocked on this door 2 years ago, that person is gone. Not dead, dissolved, absorbed into something larger. You don't talk about what you can do. You don't post about it. You don't charge for it. You don't perform it. You simply live inside it. And you start to see others who are at level 1. That restless look, that hunger in the eyes, that sense that something is calling them that they can't explain. And sometimes, rarely, you stop one of them. You look at them deep, and you say, you have eyes that haven't opened yet. Because the cycle doesn't end. It continues. Through you. Through whoever is willing to pay what it actually costs. Not money. Silence. And something you love. That's the price. That's always been the price. The only question is, are you willing?